What's going on, my fellow A-plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new video. It is I, your host, Adam Perez, back with another live reaction as we're going to go ahead and break down Titans Season 3, Episode number 8, titled Home, as we got ourselves a brand new episode this week. Back going live, guys. I know last week, a little busy and occupied, unfortunately, with Thursday Night Football. Had the Cowboys game last week, so had a pre-recorded review for you guys, but today I am, in fact, back live. So certainly hope you guys will definitely join us. Just remember, at the end of the day, guys, these are just simply my A-plus opinions, but I always want to know yours. So let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below after this particular video airs. And we'll continue along with the discussion. If there's anything in particular that I wind up missing, whether that be character moments, character arcs, storyline details, whatever you guys want to continue to certainly talk about, definitely go ahead and let that be known in the live chat or the comment section box afterwards, guys. But guys, we're continuing along. I'm actually not quite sure exactly as to how many episodes we're getting this season. I can't remember if it's like 13 or 15, but regardless, we're definitely past the halfway mark so far. And I'm actually quite surprised that based off of where we're at in the season so far, we have not gotten to that point of previous Titan seasons where the number of members that we have or characters on the show is becoming overwhelming. Like, there's actually a few characters that we have not even touched upon this season, which actually surprises me, right? Like 8 episodes deep, still haven't even gotten an opportunity to see Rachel yet, haven't gotten to see what's happened to Donna Troy yet. I know Roy Harper's supposed to be in this season. He hasn't popped up in here either. So they're actually doing a relatively good job with how they're handling their characters. But it does make me question, or at least ask, one, how much are the other characters actually in this season, and are we going to get to like episode 10 and then all of a sudden thrust everybody in there and it just becomes a gigantic smorgasbord before we get to the finale? So we'll see, but I've been really enjoying the pacing of this season so far, guys. But if you have had the opportunity to check out Titans Season 3, Episode number 8, feel free to let your thoughts be known while we're doing here, because we will be getting spoiler heavy, or at least diving deep into this week's episode. First person that I got to talk about, guys, I got to talk about Tim Drake on the scene once again here in this week's episode, played by Jay Lysurgo. I don't know if there's like an accent in his last name or not. Jay Lysurgo is in fact playing Tim Drake, the future Robin, eventually going to become the third Robin in here. And he's doing his detective work, man, straight out of the comics, right? From the comics, if I'm not mistaken, Tim Drake eventually learned the identities of Batman along with Robin, realizing that it's Bruce Wayne along with Dick Grayson, doing some reconnaissance work, putting all the pieces together. As somebody who's a big fan of Batman and Robin, certainly as Tim Drake was in the comics, it certainly makes sense that he manages to certainly go ahead and put it together. And we see that actual moment happen here in the series itself as he confronts Dick Grayson, letting him know that he wants to be the next Robin, that he certainly knows the identities behind the mask. And listen, it's a fun little time to see, Dick Grayson try and play it off, if you will. But Tim is definitely onto him. But I really love the dynamic that Jay is bringing to the character in here. I'm glad that they're showcasing how smart that this guy is, how intelligent he is, right? Even though he certainly lives in Gotham, certainly don't judge a book by its cover. And I definitely do think that he's showing his work. I mean, the guy's literally studies not only he not only studies Robin's moves, right? Like, he picks up on the idea that back in the day from the Flying Graysons, one of the moves that only like 2 people in the entire world are capable of doing, Dick Grayson's dad and Dick Grayson himself. So the fact that he gets to see not only Robin, but also Nightwing doing those very rare moves also, he immediately kind of puts it together. I mean, the guy's even studying Jason Todd's walk, guys, like matching it up with that of the second Robin. I mean, he even figures out that the second Robin is Jason Todd also. So I'm actually pretty impressed, to certainly say the least, by what Jay is able to do when it comes to Tim Drake. Even gives Dick Grayson a little bit of a tip as to where he can certainly locate Jason Todd, bringing up the fact that he was just outside his parents' restaurant. This certainly gives Dick Grayson the plans that he needs to go ahead and try and hunt down Jason Todd himself. Unfortunately, that just doesn't end the way that he certainly wants to. But I gotta say, I do love his initiative, even though his initiative lands him with a bullet in his back. The fact that he's so determined to become the new Robin that he plans on trying to find Scarecrow and Red Hood by himself just to prove a point to Dick Grayson, I think definitely goes ahead and actually shows his worth. Unfortunately for him, the inexperience, being caught in a terrible situation, talk about terrible timing. He does find himself with a bullet in his back, unfortunately bleeding out as his lungs are now filling with blood, sort of thing. If I did have an interesting like if there was anything that bugged me about that particular scene, though, it's the fact that the Titans are immediately on the scene, and despite them being on the scene, I mean, listen, we've seen Superboy do some incredible things with speed, right? Whether that's putting together a mechanism to dismantle a bomb, getting there in time to save people's life, sometimes not saving people's life, getting out of the bed once he immediately got caught with Blackfire in this episode. Like, homeboy got out of the bed with the quickness. You know what I mean? The fact that they call 911 and call an ambulance and Gar's like, it'll be here in 3 minutes. Like, 3 minutes? Like, Superboy, just pick the dude up, take him to the hospital and come back. Like, it does not take that long of a time, based off of how quick that he certainly is. So instead of poor guy waiting around as his lungs fill up with blood for 3 minutes for the ambulance to come, they really could have handled this situation just so much better, if you ask me. But this episode really made me intrigued to kind of see what else Tim Drake is certainly going to go ahead and bring to the table here. Like, I hope that this isn't the last time that we see him. I hope that he does pop back up once again, hopefully before the finale. I definitely do think that he certainly has proven himself enough to Dick Grayson as far as detective work goes. I don't really know exactly like what type of training this kid has, right? Even though he did say that his father was a police officer, he has taught Tim Drake how to also certainly use a gun. I do wonder if there's some self-defense classes in there type of thing. But I'm ready to see Tim Drake as Robin, just based off of, you know, our time with Dick Grayson as Robin, Jason Todd as Robin. That's cool and all. I'm ready for Tim Drake. I think he left a really great lasting impression on me. And I really do hope that just the idea of Drake putting himself in harm's way and seeing what's happened to him, maybe it'll allow Dick Grayson to be like, all right, look, just so you don't find yourself in this position again, let me go ahead and help you out. Because look, when it comes to Dick Grayson, he loves sort of like he loves kids that have issues, if that makes any sense, right? Like, he loves helping people and bringing people in and trying to fix people. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes Tim Drake under his wing. But genius level stuff, guys. Genius level stuff. I love how he kind of put it all together. Speaking of Robins, though, the second Robin here in Jason Todd, are we really going towards a path of a redemption story for this guy right now? I'm kind of curious. And I'm kind of curious to know how you guys would certainly feel about the concept of Jason Todd having a redemption story. Do you think he's deserving of one? Do you think that it certainly makes sense? Or is it a little bit of a head scratcher to you guys like it is for me? Granted, listen, we haven't finished the entire season yet, right? So we don't know exactly how it's going to end. Maybe there is a redemption story. Maybe there isn't, right? Like, maybe something happens within the next couple of episodes where maybe Jason goes back to just not necessarily believing that people are there to help him. You know what I mean? It seems as though he's already kind of hesitant, very fiendish at this point, right? Like somebody that just needs a hit, realizing what he's missing, realizing certainly what he did. So I don't even know if his head is fully where it needs to be at as of right now. And if anything will certainly trigger him to kind of go back to either go back in hiding or go back down his villainous ways and teaming back up with the Scarecrow. You know what I mean? Mentally, Jason Todd at this point is very sort of unhinged, if you will, right? And again, I think that's just like that the fiend in him, somebody that needs that hit but can't get it. You don't really necessarily know where their mind is at, you know what I mean, until they're like completely clean. So it should be interesting to see here what happens with Jason Todd. But there is a part of me that just does not want a redemption story for him. Like it's one of those things, like I don't mind a redemption story. I guess I should clarify that. I don't mind a redemption story. But if literally the end of this season is Jason Todd as Red Hood standing in a lineup with the other Titans at the end of season 3, I'm gonna have some questions. Okay, listen. Now I know that Jason Todd has had one hell of a life. This guy has, I mean, we've talked about it when we talked about episode number 5 or 6, where they really gave us the glimpse into Jason Todd's life, how he got to this particular point in his life. Homeboy's made some really terrible decisions. And unfortunately, while he certainly was out there to definitely go ahead and get some help, the news from Bruce Wayne in regards to like, hey, I'm not going to allow you to be sort of Robin anymore type of thing, trying to do the right thing by him being pissed off enough at Bruce Wayne to go out and look for Jonathan Crane, give Jonathan Crane all the information that he needs in return to not have this fear, if you will. Granted, Jonathan Crane does make this anti-fear serum to push Jason Todd over the edge, but homeboy made some really terrible decisions leading up to putting that in his mouth and actually inhaling. You know what I mean? So I can't give Scarecrow the entirety of the blame of what's happened to Jason Todd. Like the idea of like the reaction that we get from like Connor and Starfire when Dick Grayson tells him, we want to go ahead and bring him back and give him a home once again. Like everybody else on the team, I was like, what the are you talking about, Dick? Like, this man literally killed Hank. And, listen, Gar comes out and he's like, well, you guys didn't mind when Cadmus took control. That's a completely different situation, Garfield. Okay? So sit your ass down. We're not talking to you right now. The idea that this man literally went out of his way to give Scarecrow some of the details and the intel that he needed in regards to getting back an anti-fear serum, taking it for himself, and then running down. Like, it's just one of those things where this season began very much with Jason Todd very adamant about his decision, right? Like the stuff that he was taking, super confident, literally went down, ran down a bunch of, boss level mobsters, telling him he's in control, right? The first 2-3 episodes of this season very much is there's nobody controlling me, man. Like I'm doing this all on my own sort of thing, right? It is just one of those things where I can't put all the blame on Scarecrow. I cannot. Does he have a significant role to play? Absolutely. But Jason Todd needs to be held accountable for his actions. Was he under the influence? Absolutely. But just those series of terrible decisions that you wind up making leading up to you taking that anti-fear, all on top of the idea that you're clearly struggling with stuff in your life prior to your argument with Bruce Wayne, I can't have this man back on the team. I just don't see a redemption story here. If there is a redemption story, I'm kind of hoping that it's like, hey, listen, Jason, we're going to forgive you, right? We're going to bring you in. That's what superheroes do. You bring us Scarecrow. That's great. Back in the family, cool. But you're not living under this roof, man. You're going to an asylum. You're going to a mental institute, or at least you're going to some sort of like prison therapy. And when you get better, then we'll talk a little bit more. Okay. But you need some counseling. You need some help. And I hope that somebody holds him not only accountable, but also does get Jason Todd some damn help. So if Homeboy's literally on the Titans at the end of this season, nah, man. That just don't make no sense to me. It just don't make no sense to me. Unstable, has killed people while under the influence. Yeah, go get some help first and then maybe come back in season 4. You know what I'm saying? I would be cool with that. But we'll see what happens, man. I mean, the fact that he's reaching out to Molly, who kind of sets up a meeting, right? Working alongside with Garfield to kind of hopefully have that one-on-one conversation between Jason and Dick. I am kind of curious, especially with Scarecrow kind of showing up on the scene towards the end of the episode. I do wonder if Jason Todd's being 100% honest, right? Or if it's the idea that he's just in his own head. Like the fact that this guy literally went to like a nude like theater or like a XXX theater to watch people have sex, even though he didn't watch them have sex. The fact that he literally goes there to have them role play as somebody that he's killed and their significant other. Yeah, he's not right in the head. Like that's a place you're going to go for your advice, to kind of get your grief association, if that's the thing, right? The idea that you're now feeling terrible that you killed Hank, petrified about what you did to Dawn, and now you want to express your sorrow and how sorry you are to these two. Like, if these are the people that he's relying on, Homeboy's clearly not right in the head. I don't care what he's certainly saying in regards to, I just want to kind of come back home. Of course you want to come back home. You did some terrible shit that you need to be held accountable for. So I am curious to see how this is certainly going to end, and if he's being 100% honest as to whether or not he wants things to certainly change for himself and even kind of come back home. So I will be interested. I am going to be looking very closely to see, is there a redemption story brewing, or is this going to be a fast one where they make you think one is coming, and then within 2 episodes you see that, yeah, he's just Red Hood again, guys. You know what I mean? So I will be fascinated to see what happens there. And we also got to talk a little bit about Connor along with Blackfire. Dude, guys, I love this storyline. I absolutely love this storyline. I did not know where it was going, but listen, the sexual tension between these two have been brewing for quite a few episodes. So to kind of see it all finally happen, come to a climax, pun intended, the idea that we got Connor Kent here popping his cherry for the first time, you know, congratulations, man. Congratulations. Connor Kent is now a man. But listen, these two clearly have eyes set on one another. I am a little bit disappointed that the way that we get the opportunity to see Tamarin is literally just a hologram. Like, I believe Indy's in here, by the way. What's up, Indy? Appreciate you coming through. I believe Indy, and we talked about this before season 3 happened, the idea that, man, wouldn't it be great if we had like a space adventure and we actually went to Tamarin to figure out this Starfire storyline? Well, while we haven't gotten that, I definitely have enjoyed the storyline so far. This is probably the closest that we're going to get to Tamarin, guys. It's just literally a hologram to kind of show the distance between that and certainly where Krypton certainly was. You know, I do like the actress that's portraying Blackfire. She's coming across great in the series, but some of her facial expressions, I find it hard to like figure out where her mindset is at. Like, is she really into this because she's with Connor, right? Like, is she really, I don't want to say invested, but is she really happy with Connor, or is there like an evil scheme? You know, like, is she trying to make a super baby? You know, Tamarin, Kryptonian, sort of, and now you've got like a new king of Tamarin or some shit. Like, I wonder if that's part of her plan as of right now. And the only reason why I say that is the Starfire visions are super fascinating to me. The only time that she's had visions and has kind of lost connection, or, you know, she kind of loses herself, has always been her sister driven, right? All the images that we've seen pop up from the very first episode for her has all been a connection to Blackfire. That's how she wound up finding Blackfire in the first place, out in the middle of nowhere. So I am interested to see, is this still a connection of Blackfire, right? I mean, we see her, one of Starfire's visions take her to like a Broadway play or something. She's sitting in the audience, and there's literally a baby stroller right in the middle of the in the stage. And when she opens it up, it's a black baby with green eyes. Like, I'm wondering, like, is Starfire pregnant? Is this what we're getting? Is this Dick Grayson's baby? I'm curious if what the vision is for Starfire, if she's seeing something that's connected to her, or if she's continuing to see what's connected to Blackfire. And I'm wondering if Blackfire's intentions is to have a baby, and if it's with Connor Kent, holy, you know what I mean? Yeah, we might be in for some trouble here. So we'll see. We'll see, right? I mean, Connor Kent, he even talked about it, right? He's like, I'm 50% good, I'm 50% bad. I've got a little bit of Lex Luthor in me, a little bit of Clark Kent. You know, if Blackfire's got some evil intentions, having half of a Lex Luthor as your baby is probably what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Whether or not that happens, who certainly knows. Indy says, I felt like we got shorted in regards to Tamarin. Yeah, man, I do wish that listen, I've really loved this season so far of Titans. I truly have. But yeah, man, maybe a little bit of extra money towards a planetary, you know, visit to Tamarin, I think would be fantastic. Maybe we'll get something like that towards the end of this season, but we'll definitely have to see. The Titans now have a bat signal. A little bit cheesy, if you ask me. Not quite sure how I feel about it. I don't recall them ever having a bat signal type before in the comics. If I'm wrong, if you guys are familiar, if it's happened before, certainly go ahead and let me know in the live chat or the comment section box below. But yeah, a little bit cheesy to me. Like I get the idea that, you know, Batman's out of town and stuff, but like, can we get something cooler on the signal, like a Nightwing signal? You know, I think that would be pretty cool to signal them. But a gigantic T, it's just it's a little bit boring to me. You know what I mean? A little bit boring to me. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But overall, episode I certainly enjoyed. I continue to like the relationship between Barbara and Dick Grayson. I did feel like the Tim Drake stuff could have been handled a little bit better in regards to him getting shot and taking him to the hospital. And I did feel like, you know, now that we see that the Scarecrow has managed to poison the water of Gotham City, I feel like it's maybe a little bit too convenient that all of a sudden this leak sort of springs up again in Gotham City. You know, we've been here 7 full episodes, day after day after day. There's never been a leak on the on the ceiling, but today there's a leak in this episode, right? And they act like it's something that they've been dealing with forever. And I'm like, this literally has just popped up in this episode, guys. So sometimes I think this episode felt a little bit too convenient at times with things that you need to happen in order to progress the storyline. It felt a little bit way too convenient for me in that regards. But there is a little bit of sense of mystery that I do have questions in regards to when it comes to Dick Grayson. You know, the fact that he is starting to see visions, right? We see him when he's trying to read the eye exam on the wall. He starts having like visions of like a bat that forms on there. Also sees himself as a kid with the robbing gear on. And then again, when he's actually inside of the tunnels, there was a part of me that was thinking to myself, like, I wonder if this guy has been drugged somehow. Like, I wonder if he's gotten that fear serum inside of him somehow, but I don't necessarily know how that sort of would have been possible just watching this episode. So I am curious as to what's certainly taking place, because Dick Grayson has not had to struggle with this before at all, unless all of a sudden, God, I'm starting to think like maybe it is connected to Starfire. Like, is she connected to him now? Because it feels very much similar in that sense of Dick Grayson kind of either having visions or going blank, and then being kind of thrusted back into reality, like not aware as to what had just happened around him, you know, because the taxi driver literally had to like snap him out of it in order to get his attention, sort of thing. So I do wonder if that's what's activated the memories or visions once again for Starfire. The fact that she went to a location that she's circling, I do wonder what the impact of that is certainly going to be. But overall, guys, I honestly, I didn't have too many issues with this episode. I certainly enjoyed it for what it was. Again, Jay kills it as Tim Drake. Love the initiative that he's taken, and just really them doing a great job of showing his genius level and how he's really been able to break down the true identities of both Batman and both the Robins, to be honest. So yeah, the Tim Drake stuff was in here, was great. The Connor and Blackfire stuff, humorous but perfect. And then of course my questions about a Red Hood redemption. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, I want to know your guys' thoughts. Oh, good point, Nathan. Thank you very much. He says, what was happening underneath the bed, though? There was a part of me that was thinking to myself, because of the fact that Connor and Blackfire were having sex, I wonder if it was like pheromones that maybe Tamarins kind of give off, sort of thing. I mean, super creepy that Starfire like literally walks in on them, but she has no idea. Well, I thought at first maybe she didn't have an idea as to what was going on, but she clearly picked up on it. So I don't know if she's picking up on the sexual innuendos and sexual tension that's happening between them. I don't know if it's a case of, because of the fact that she had that vision of a baby, maybe that's where she's making the connections to. I have no idea. But I was wondering that same thing also. Like for me, it just automatically went to like Tamarin hormones, maybe. But who knows? It could be something else that Blackfire has up her sleeve. I'm not fully 100% trusting her as of right now, but maybe she'll certainly, I don't want to say prove her worth, but maybe she'll certainly prove me wrong and show that she's really here. So I'm keeping my eye on Blackfire to see exactly what's going on. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, I want to know your thoughts. What did you guys think about this particular episode? Is there anything that jumped out at you? What were some of your favorite moments, some of the pros, cons out of this episode? I definitely want to go ahead and know your guys' thoughts. And of course, we'll certainly be back here live next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central to certainly talk the next episode of Titans with you guys. But until then, do us a big favor. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And as always, keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.